So this is on PS5 Pro, PlayStation VR 2, and I know you guys obviously cannot see what I'm seeing because I'm wearing the headset, but you'll just have to trust me. It looks well. Here's what I've noticed: the difference, because you guys want to know, well, what is the difference? One of the differences that I've noticed between the base PS5 and the PS5 Pro when it comes to PlayStation VR 2, and this is true for both Gran Turismo and Microsoft Flight Simulator, is it's just more fluid. Like I don't see any uh, latency, right? Sometimes on the base version there would be a little bit of a latency, right? Here on the PS5 Pro, everything's more fluid. So that's number one. It's more fluid, and that's very important when it comes to virtual reality. You want to make sure that everything is fluid. Same goes for the Gran Turismo. It's very fluid. Now, with Gran Turismo, you got more enhanced visuals. You got a higher resolution. You got more of advanced HDR on top of the fluidity. So it just looks unbelievable. But it's something you have to see for yourself. Now, here, in terms of visuals, I do notice that it's a little bit sharper. Okay. Now, is because of PSSR, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution? I don't know. I don't know what kind of magic they're using, but I do notice that the image it's a little bit sharper, a little bit more vivid, and I also notice that the HDR is a little bit more brighter. And on top of image being more vivid, being more brighter with HDR, there's the fluidity. So there is a difference. Now let's go ahead and let's take off. So there's certainly a difference. Oh yeah, man, this looks just it just looks better, man, on PS5 Pro. Everything looks better on PS5 Pro. That's what I have really realized. And of course, the two VR games that I recommend, Gran Turismo 7 and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, it's a must-have. If you're thinking about buying a PlayStation VR 2, Gran Turismo and Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's a must-have. That's just like a that's I don't even have to think about that. That's you have to have. If you have a PlayStation VR 2 and you don't have Gran Turismo and Microsoft Flight Simulator installed for your PlayStation VR 2, then you're missing out. This is great. This is great. Listen, I mean, this is just amazing. We're in Miami right now, and it is raining. It is a lot of rain now this time of the year, especially by the end of June. Beginning of July, we got a lot of rain, and then of course August, plenty of rain. And of course, by the end of August, beginning of September, those 2 months, August, September, hurricane season, a lot of rain, dude. So, welcome to South Florida, right? But besides the fluidity, besides the visuals, the clarity and detail, and HDR brightness, I also noticed that the textures are more consistent. There's a consistency with the textures. Unlike with the base PS5, I do notice that the textures don't load up. Sometimes the world scenery takes time to load up. Here, that's not the case. Here, the scenery is already consistent. You can see the golf course. You can see everything down there. I think there was a golf course down there or something. Um, like there's a consistency with the textures. It's always there. Well, listen, guys, none of this should be a surprise. None of this should be a surprise because look at this golf course. I see everything clear as the day. Look, none of this should be a surprise because PS5 Pro is more powerful. That's a fact, you know. The 67%, that's not like a myth, that's actually a fact. It is 67% more powerful. Okay. It clearly says there. It has 16 teraflops. It has a much faster SSD, faster memory, has 32 working groups, RDNA 2X as Mark Cerny likes to call it. Everything's better, everything's faster. So of course it's going to look better. But now I know you're going to say, well, hold on. But can you justify $1,000 price tag? Well, look, I don't agree with the price, okay? I still believe that it should be $700 because it's a mid-gen upgrade. If this was a PlayStation 6, absolutely. A PlayStation 6, sure. Not a problem. You know, $900 for PlayStation 6, I totally understand. It's all good. It's RDNA 5. It's a very powerful next generation console. Absolutely. No one will complain about $900. They understand. It's a next gen. But this is a mid-gen. You see, and this is where I have a problem with the price. It's a mid-gen, okay? But then people say, well, look at Xbox Series X. I don't want to compare PS5 Pro to Xbox Series X because Xbox Series X, it's not a mid-gen. It's a just 6 years old 2020 next gen of this generation. So I don't want to compare PS5 Pro to Xbox Series X. If Xbox Series X had like Xbox Series X Pro and it's a mid-gen upgrade, okay, then I'll compare mid-gen upgrade with mid-gen upgrade. Why should I compare a mid-gen upgrade with a 6 years old hardware? Makes no sense. So I don't agree with the price. I still don't agree with $957. That's $1,000 you have to pay. Okay, I don't agree with that. It should be $700 because it's a mid-gen. But each to its own. Now, if you're someone like me who has PlayStation VR 2, who has 4K TVs, right, who has the luxury of all of these televisions and PlayStation VR 2, then for you, $1,000 might be worth of the investment. So what I'm trying to say, it'll be different for everyone. Me, I'm benefiting. I'm benefiting because I already have 3 4K TVs, an amazing 3 4K TVs with all the bells and whistles. So I get to enjoy and experience the detail. I have PlayStation VR 2, so I get to benefit from, you know, PlayStation VR 2 games like Microsoft Flight Simulator and Gran Turismo. So, you know, for me, there's benefits. For you, I don't know. I mean, if you are still rocking on some old TCL Walmart TV with like a 400 nits peak brightness and some, you know, decent local dimming, for you, you're not going to see any difference. So it's not worth 1,000. If you're going to connect it to a monitor, what are you doing, dude? Like, you're connecting it to a 1440p monitor. Yes, you're going to get 120 hertz, fine. But, dude, like, what are you doing? You just stick with, you can do 120 hertz with a base PS5. So it'll be different for everyone. Okay? So you need to ask yourself, is it worth the investment? I'm paying a $1,000 for a mid-gen, and PlayStation 6 will be coming around the corner. You got to ask yourself a question. Is, to you, this is something I cannot answer because people have been asking me these questions. Do you recommend? What do you think? It's different for everyone, and it's different for me. It'll be different for everyone. I think if you can find a used PS5 and you don't care about the 4K, and you have a decent, television, you don't care, or you have just a decent monitor, you don't care about all that bells and whistles, you'll do just fine. You can get yourself a used PS5 and be ready for Grand Theft Auto 6, right? Some people don't care about all this detail. And remember, that's for whom this console is for enthusiasts who want to have all that clarity and detail. But it will cost you money. So that's why I say it's a special interest. This console, let's just call it what it is. It's a special interest. It's not for everyone. That's why you need to ask yourself, hey, is this worth the investment? But I can't just simply answer it for you and say, oh, yes, go ahead and buy it, because I don't know what you have. I don't know what kind of 4K TV you have. I don't know if you can take the advantage of this to see the detail. I don't know if you have a PlayStation VR 2 to take the advantage of this for Microsoft Flight Simulator and Gran Turismo. So it's hard for me to recommend. Okay? Now, just because it's worth it for me, but that's subjective. You see, people say, yeah, but it's worth it to you. Yeah, because I have my reasons. Like I said, I have 3 great, amazing 4K TVs. One behind me, there's one next to me, there's another one in the office. So I have 3 amazing 4K TVs, okay? I have a PlayStation VR 2, so I'm going to benefit. Don't look at me. I have my subjective reasons as to why I purchased this, and I told you that. But I still don't agree with the price. I still don't agree with $900 because you're paying $1,000 for something that originally was set to be worth $700. So you paying an extra $300 for something that's only worth $700, and it's a mid-gen upgrade. Okay, now if you're someone who has a really good 4K TV, 65-inch, 75-inch, or maybe 88-inch LG OLED, and you want to play Grand Theft Auto 6, of course, this holiday season, so for you, $1,000 is a great investment because you already have 88-inch LG OLED TV. You already invested so much money into that TV, and you want to play Grand Theft Auto 6 in the best possible detail. So for you, of course, a $1,000, it's a worthy investment. So this is why I'm saying, and before I get off the subject, I want to say this before I end this video. PS5 Pro, it's a special interest. This is a special interest console. And even my co-pilot here will agree. It's a special interest console because it's really aimed for special interest. I have a special interest. Why? Because I want to experience this. And I want to experience this in a best possible way, which is Microsoft Flight Simulator, PlayStation VR 2. That's what you're watching right now. I want to experience Gran Turismo, right? Gran Turismo 7 in VR. So I have my reasons. I already gave you 2 reasons, right? This game, Microsoft Flight Simulator, and Gran Turismo 7. And I also have 3 great 4K TVs with all the bells and whistles. So I'm benefiting. I have my subjective reasons for that. So don't look at me, don't look at this video and say, okay, so he says he likes it, he likes it. Yeah, but I'm not recommending it for everyone because you don't have what I have. Maybe you don't have what I have. Maybe you don't have the high-end 4K TVs like I do. Maybe you don't have this PlayStation VR 2. So that's why I'm saying it'll be different for everyone. And this is why I can't recommend this. Just easily say, go ahead and buy it for $1,000. Okay? It's a tough sell. It's not an easy sell. Yes, I'm sure Grand Theft Auto 6 will help sell this console a little bit more this holiday season because of Grand Theft Auto 6. Okay, that certainly will help. I'm not saying that it's not. But after Grand Theft Auto 6, right? After the honeymoon it's over, people still going to say, well, I don't know, do I want to invest into this console? So what I want to say is this. Yes, there are benefits of this console, okay? Because my God, people have been bugging me about this, asking me on my emails, contacting me on my emails. Is it really worth it, please? Like, dude, like, I can't, tell you. All I can say is this. There are benefits. I want to end the video by saying this. There are benefits, okay? And there are many benefits like this one. Okay, PlayStation VR 2, I'm benefiting. Clearly, as you can see, I'm clearly benefiting from this. I certainly am profiting and benefiting. What I mean by profiting is I got my value of my money profited from this because I'm enjoying it. Every penny that I spent has been profited, for me. The profit is the experience for me. My profit is not in money. My profit is in experience. So my profit that I'm benefiting is in experience. And that's my profit, not in money, but in experience. I'm experiencing this profit of amazing visuals and detail. For you, I don't know. You have to pay how much for this, for PlayStation VR 2? You have to pay how much for that high-end 4K TV? And then you have to pay $1,000 for a PS5 Pro? Is it worth it to you? I don't know. All I can do on this video is tell you that yes, there are differences. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that there are no differences. Yes. If you want to know, yes. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 looks better on the PlayStation VR 2. Plays better, looks smoother, better visuals, cleaner, detail, consistent textures. Everything looks better, more realistic. You are certainly benefiting from PS5 Pro with virtual reality. But this also costs money. You have to pay $1,000. How much for this? Right? So you're looking at what, $1,500, $1,600? And if you want to enjoy 4K TV, you got to spend another, $2,000 to have a really good 4K TV. All of that costs money, dude. Yes, this is worth it. And that's why I'm calling it a special interest. It's worth it if you have all of the necessary components to enjoy this. If you don't have all the necessary components, you're not going to enjoy it. Because you're not going to see the difference. I have to laugh when I see people buying a PS5 Pro and they're connecting it to a 1440p monitor. Like a 14-inch 1440p monitor. Like, what are you doing? They're connecting to a 14-inch 1440p monitor. 14 little tiny 14-inch monitor, dude. I've seen people connected to a 14-inch monitor. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, but it has 240 hertz. Yeah, but you can't take the advantage of 240 hertz. Only 120 hertz. But still, you can do 120 hertz with a base PS5. Guys, what are you doing, man? You're spending $1,000 on the PS5 Pro, and then you're connecting it to a 14-inch 1440p monitor. What are you doing? So, all I want to say is this. Yes, before I end the video, there are benefits. There are benefits that I'm profiting, not in money, but profiting in experience. Yes, I'm using the word profit, but it's not in monetary profit. It's in experience profit. That's my benefit. My benefit that I'm profiting, it's in the experience. Okay? And that's what I'm having. I'm having a great experience. Every game runs good, runs great. Now, some developers, they choose not to utilize the PS5 Pro hardware. That's up to the developers. Sony cannot force developers to utilize the PS5 Pro hardware. That's, up to the third-party developers. But in majority of these games that I have tested, and later on I'll be testing Days Gone as well, there's no question about it. Every game looks good, runs good, looks better, plays better, everything looks better, plays better, and I'm sure, Grand Theft Auto 6 will look the best, But in order for you to enjoy the best, you're going to need some components besides PS5 Pro. You're going to need a really good high-end 4K TV. Don't just think, oh, I bought a PS5 Pro this holiday season, and I'll just connect it to my monitor or my little, cheap, Walmart TCL TV. No, dude, you're not going to see a difference. You need to have the right components to enjoy this mid-gen upgrade. That's what I'm trying to say. You need the right components. And what are the right components? Well, the right components are a really good 4K TV and PlayStation VR 2. But all of that costs money. Buying this PlayStation VR 2 costs money. Buying a really good 4K TV costs money. And then you have to spend $1,000 on the PS5 Pro. Is that really worth it to you? I can't answer that for you. That's something you have to answer for yourself. It's worth it to me because I have all the components that I'm benefiting from. Or I use the word profit, which I know it's politically incorrect. Profit means monetary, but my profit, it's in the experience, not in the money. That's my value. My value is not in money. My value it's in experience. And I'm getting a really good experience here. I feel like I'm really flying here. Everything looks great. I can't complain. So, you know what I mean? Each to its own, guys. Each to its own. Each to its own. This will be different for everyone. Just because it's good for me doesn't mean it'll be good for you. And the reason I'm trying to be, look, what I'm trying to do in this video, I'm trying to be as honest as humanly possible. Because I don't want to be a salesman. I don't want to sell you this, I'm not here to sell you this console. I'm not sponsored by Sony. I'm not like sitting here, hey, go ahead, buy a PS5 Pro. I'm not one of those guys who justifies their purchase and then telling everybody, go ahead and buy it, go ahead and buy it. I don't do that. Unless I'm sponsored by a company and they're paying me a lot of money to sell, that's a different story. But then I'm a shill, But I'm not a shill. I bought this with my own hard-earned cash, and I knew before I went to buy it that I will benefit. You see, I already knew that I'm going to benefit because I have all the right components to enjoy the benefits of this console. You know what I mean? There's a difference. Alright, let's make a landing over here. Let's see if we can do a proper landing here. It's been a while, huh? What do you say, Captain? I mean, First Officer. I'm the Captain. Welcome to Hollywood International. Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood International. We're talking about a Hollywood in Miami, not one in California. Alright, let's see. Okay. There we go. Smooth as a butter. Smooth as a butter, man. Smooth as a butter. We got this. We got this, man. Oh yeah. I'm not even sweating it. I'm not even. I'm not even sweating it. We got this. Yeah, this is very realistic, I gotta say. Let's just bring it over here. Let's just park it. Look, guys, you get what you pay for, all right? And I know how it sounds, but if you want a great experience, you have to pay a little extra, you know? And I think that's what the whole point is of this PlayStation 5 Pro. I think that's what even Mark Cerny says. This is really aimed for those of you who want a great experience. But it'll cost you money, of course. Now, if this was $700, like the original price that they have released it with, I would have no problem recommending this. If this was, $700, I would say, yeah, man, $700, go right ahead. You can always, save some money, buy a new TV, invest money in a really good TV, 4K TV, or save some money and invest into a PlayStation VR 2. Like, it would be easy for me to recommend this, but it is difficult for me to recommend this at this price point at 1000 because you still need to invest money to have all of these components, like a really good 4K TV, PlayStation VR 2, etc., etc. So that's why, I can't just, easily recommend PS5 Pro. But listen, if you have those components, if you have a really good 4K TV, and if you have PlayStation VR 2, absolutely, dude, trade in your original PS5 or sell your original PS5, and then, buy yourself a PS5 Pro, dude, you know. All right, let me just park it over here. We'll park it here. I don't want to park it over there. I'll just park it here. All right, we'll park it right here. All right, well, there you have it, guys. I hope this video gives you some idea how amazing PlayStation VR 2 really is on PS5 Pro. And also, I hope that this video kind of clarifies all of this questions that you guys have regarding is PS5 Pro worth it or not. So I hope this helps you out a little bit. I hope this gives you some, you know, some clarification, for whom this PS5 Pro is really intended for. It's a special interest console. It's really designed to be a special interest console. Okay, so there you have it. Thank you for watching, and like I said, leave a comment down below. Let me know. Okay, what do you think? And like I said, PlayStation VR 2 looks amazing, but you will need to, of course, buy a PlayStation VR 2 and PlayStation VR 2 on your head to see it for yourself. Okay, that's the only way that you'll truly understand how good it is. All right, well, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you.